We're Danni and Joe, and for the past 3 years we have owned this 50-foot narrowboat which we call Lady Pennybun. It was a completely empty hull when we bought it, and yeah, we've converted it to our little tiny home on water.
For the past 3 months we've been living in and around London, and this has actually been our first winter aboard the narrowboat properly without leaving it in a marina and buggering off abroad. So we thought we'd share our actual costs with you. We made a video over a year ago now where we compared the cost of living on a boat to a house. But I think we got a few of the costs wrong because now we've actually spent some money on logs, coal, a bit more diesel and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a bit more expensive than we first thought.
So in this video we're going to cover the costs in regards to sort of like heating the boat, but also the new CRT surcharges which are going to be increased from April.
Yeah, it's a bit controversial because there's a surcharge on top of CCers, like continuous cruisers like us. So if you constantly move your boat and you don't have a home mooring, you're going to eventually pay more and more than someone who has a home base. So we'll cover that as well.
Sorry if we keep looking down. Joe's written it all out on the laptop, which you can't see. So
there's a lot of numbers in this. Yeah.
So the first cost for the boat was obviously buying it. We spent £12,000 on our boat. It was completely empty, and we've put probably about another 15 to 20,000 into it. Now, obviously, we didn't have that money just there and then. We previously lived in a converted Sprinter, and when we sold that, that was the money that we had that got us the boat really, and then a little bits, not very much, and then from then it's just been paycheck to paycheck completing the boat, which has taken us about a year.
About a year from buying it, you reckon, or a bit more?
Yeah, to moving on. I mean, we still had loads of stuff that we were doing whilst we lived on it, but yeah, I would say about a good year of making it livable to some degree. Obviously there's lots of different ways that you can do that. Some people don't want a project, which I can completely agree with you, and you can just buy one obviously already done. They do vary a lot in prices, quite subjective, isn't it? Whatever your taste is to whether you are willing to pay for that. What would you say they vary between? So
like really roughly anywhere from £30,000 for something that's livable, that needs a bit of freshen up or whatever, up to like way over 100 grand for something brand new and with all the optional extras. I think a narrowboat you could probably spend almost 200 grand on now if you went full electric and stuff. So.
And also I think the waiting list, so if you thought, oh yeah, I'll just buy one new, if you had that kind of money, not many people do, you wouldn't even necessarily just be able to buy one like that. There's a wait list for all the builders, like it's a real art to it, you know, they're all bespoke to whatever you want and what kind of windows you want. But yeah, so that's sort of like the options. There are mortgages, aren't there? There's like or like loans and stuff, which a lot of people have. So if you had that, then you'd have to bear that into your monthly cost, which is almost like a mortgage. But we're we obviously don't have that because we paid for it as we went, because it was just completely empty.
So once you've bought your boat, the first large monthly cost is going to be your boat license, which is almost a cross between car tax and council tax. So that pays for our boat to be on the water, on the Canal and River Trust's waters, and that covers your bins, recycling when there are recycling points, water. Anything else? That's about it.
I think that's it. But equally, when we came up to London, we went on the River Thames, and that is a different licence. So if you stayed on the River Thames, you don't actually pay CRT, you pay
EA, Environment Agency.
Yeah. Is that just for London, or is that other rivers?
I think they might have a few other rivers.
Yeah. And there's also like another one, I think it was National Trust, which is in Guildford. But yeah, we're basing this off of CRT because that's the majority of it, and also in London.
So I'll start from when we first had the boat. Our first ever licence was £886.31 per year for a 50-foot narrowboat.
That was in 2021.
Yeah, and our most recent one, which expires in August, was £1,065.79p. Now onto the slightly controversial topic. Essentially, the government recently announced that it was going to cut funding to Canal and River Trust in general, I think. Or was there ever? Is anything this? What would the canals be like? The railways,
the
canals.
People living
alternatively.
Yeah, in regards to that, from 2027.
This year.
But it's 2027.
Oh, the funding gets cut. Sorry, yes.
That's when the funding completely gets cut. We might be a little bit wrong on that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it definitely is getting cut. So in the meantime, CRT are making cutbacks, like slowly but equally increasing our license, aren't they?
Yeah, and the basically the controversial bit is there's going to be a surcharge because we don't have a home mooring. Every year it will rise by 5% on top of the standard base rate if they've got a home mooring. So by 2028 there will actually be a 25% increase on the base rate, and it's rising over inflation as well. So at the minute, that's looking the first one, from April, which is when the first increase comes in, our new license price is actually going to be 1,248.66. So that's roughly 200 quid more in 1 year.
But equally, that, like we said, with the license in the first instance, it is based on the length of your boat. So people that have wide beams are really going to be hit by that.
Because there's an additional surcharge for them as well, which is increasing every year. 2
surcharges?
Yeah, I'll put a table up. CR2 put a table up which shows it quite well. So there's like different bands, and if you've got a wide beam, which is over 10 foot, I think. So there's a wide beam category and there's a wide beam. So up to like the 12-foot ones, the huge ones. That's got like a double whammy surcharge on it. I think that's going up to 50% above the base rate, which is quite a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put the table up because it does show it quite well.
So if you think you're going to be moving on to a boat to save money, this is definitely something to bear in mind now. It's not just to take it as, yeah, this is the boat and this is how much it's going to be, because it is going to be increasing as everything is, but yeah, it's just increasing quite a bit depending on the boat that you get.
Yeah.
So like both sides of the argument in regards to surcharge. If you're a continuous cruiser like us, then we are using the facilities a lot more than people that perhaps just take it out at weekends or in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, they aren't using those facilities and they're using probably the marinas that they're paying for. The other side to that though is, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it sort of thing. And we can experience that from the Slough Arm, you know, that is not getting used at all. I mean, it's obviously a dead end, but the more, you know, the water, even in London, even in London itself, you know, if like people aren't moving, the weeds like build up and stuff. And yeah, so there's two sides, you know, we'll stay neutral on that one.
Next monthly cost is going to be boat insurance, which I still think is really quite reasonable when you think this is an entire house and it floats and is still less than our car insurance.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craft Insure. Our insurance per year is £235. Do you want to talk about the gas? Because you're the one who uses the bath all the time.
In our video that we did about a year ago in regards to gas, we were way off. Well, Joe was way off.
And gas is probably, we've not even got through our first bottle yet, and we've been using gas for about 6 months. So maybe 2 of those a year.
So our gas is what we use to heat our hot water, and also it's what we use to cook with. So I love baths, we love cooking, so yeah, we've used a lot more than we thought we did, but I still don't think it's bad.
No, so total that we use is 113 kilo of Cala, I think it is propane. That's depending on where you pick it up from. It's about 45 to 50 quid. The prices vary, but
month.
That's per month. 1 whole bottle per month, almost to the day. I think it was to the day it actually ran out exactly.
But that is over the winter, you know. We've like been making nice wholesome meals. Sometimes we've had the oven on for hours. Joe likes baking, which you have to heat up the oven. So yeah, we do cook a lot.
We're gas hungry, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
And that's all of our hot water. Now we're a little bit unusual. We don't have a calorifier, which is when you run your engine, that heats water for you. So we're solely on gas for hot water. So some people probably have that bill, I would imagine.
Yeah. Let us know what yours is if you you know, how much gas you use if you're on a boat. I don't know. I don't know if that's a lot or not, but
that's your bus.
When we were in it before, when we did this thing before, we were still sort of in and out of marinas. So although you thought that's what we use, every night that we were away from the boat, if we were staying with family or away from friends, like you realise, you know, you're not cooking, are you? Or you're trying to have shower somewhere else, which we
and there were showers in the marina as well. So yeah. But yeah, 1 bottle per month, 45 to 50 quid. Our main source of heat on the boat is still our log burner. We have used roughly, during the real cold patch, we're using about 1 bag of coal per week. You could use more, you could use less. We're sort of tying that in with some logs. And a bag of coal is smokeless coal, it's not real coal. It's going to cost you about 20 quid from the fuel boats in London. Whilst we've come slightly further out, it's less than to 18.50 per bag. That's roughly per week, so that can add up. especially for the cold patches for us. And then with the logs, we managed to get a bulk bag. My friend Sam went and picked one up for me, so that we've been sort of picking from that as and when. And we've still got a few left, and that was 120 quid, I think.
Yeah.
For the bulk bag. Still got a few bits left.
You've got to bear in mind the bulk bag is obviously amazing. We're very grateful for Sam for having that as an option. But if we didn't have somewhere to store it, there's no way we could have had a bulk bag.
Yeah.
And also, it's obviously a bit more expensive being in London, but we didn't have the car for the whole time we're in London.
Yeah.
So you might be able to get it cheaper in a shop somewhere, or but it's weighing up the options of then having to get it back to the boat. Like you're not going to be carrying it on the underground. I think it was twice, just to tie us over. We did buy a couple of little sacks of logs from the fuel boat, and they were £12 each, but they're like kiln dried and they're perfect just to keep us going. The log burner doesn't quite reach the bedroom. It helps with the bathroom a little bit, but if we want a shower in the morning whilst it's at its coldest, then we'll put the diesel heater on and then just warm up the bathroom so we're not shivering. Just takes off the edge. It really does. So diesel on a boat, we get that from a fuel boat as well, and it's divided into 2 rates, which can get a bit confusing. Basically, for any diesel that you use when you move the boat, aka propulsion, that's charged at the full VAT rate, even though it's coloured red diesel. They've all changed quite a few times and stuff. I think that's still correct. And then any that you use for heating is at a discounted rate. So normally the fuel boats, I think, is 60/40. But obviously over winter, if you're moving less and using more for your heating, then you can have more of the cheaper rate, if that makes sense. So it's roughly pump price, and then some of it's a bit discounted for your heating. We've been using roughly 50 litres per month for heating and propulsion combined. So 100 litres would last a couple of months, roughly. We have obviously moved quite a significant way from the West Country to London, and then we went the whole way around London, which most people in the winter just wouldn't be doing. So now we're a bit further out of London. We are going slower because of stoppages, not out of not because we want to, but we haven't used that much.
We haven't been cruising that far, have we? No. Well, we can't because of stoppages, which is another thing.
So when you say, so it's red diesel, but are you paying full price as if you were with a car then? I
think so. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but so anything for propulsion
is about the same
it's same
rate,
as pump price. I
even
think
though it was
so.
red.
Even though it's been dyed red, because then when you go to use it,
we did, when we were coming into London, we did stop, because normally this is the only time we've ever really used fuel boats. We normally either have the car and we go get it, or we've stopped at marinas on the way. We did stop at one marina, but other than that, we've been using the fuel boats, which is lovely. It's nice to see old tradition. The boats are just stunning. So
they're really good to use, because some days when you don't want to move, they're still out and about.
Bless
365 days a year almost. They do work hard. As some of you will have seen, our batteries died right at a really bad point. It was some of the darkest days, some of the coldest days, and we couldn't run the engine because that was leaking coolant really badly. So we had 0 power, even the LED lights. That was tough. That was not what I needed to get me into the first winter of just being continuous cruisers. That was not okay. It was hard going. So we bought a generator, which a lot of people rely on over winter because you're not getting any solar, which is in general where we get all of our electricity in the summer. Because we couldn't run the engine and we just weren't moving as much. The generator was a lifesaver, so I've put down a little bit of money for petrol as well, because if we top the batteries up for a couple of hours, you can use a couple of litres of petrol, and it does add a little bit of cost, especially onto winter boat life, which is we're mainly focusing on how much it's cost over winter. So I've added a bit of petrol in as well. Some people said we could have got a cheaper generator as well, but again, it's all about being convenient when you're on a narrowboat. So we had to get one that we could get delivered somewhere rather than pick up, rather than getting it delivered. So that was the reason why we chose that, and it's been great. It's been a good generator, hasn't it? But I'm sure there were cheaper generators. How much did you pay for that generator? It's about 420 quid. And I could get a similar spec one online for just over 300, but we needed it there and then, and Screwfix had it in stock. Convenience, isn't it? It was convenience. That's like when you're on a boat and you don't have a car and you don't have
An address.
easy road access or an address, there are things that you will have to pay more for. Even buying things from certain marinas and chandleries and stuff, you need spare bits on a boat that you can't get delivered. There is a premium there, and that's definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
Maintenance, boat maintenance. So we are coming up to time. We're slightly overdue, actually, to tell you the truth, by about a month. Our blacking is due, which is basically coating the bottom of your boat in bitumen, protects the hull from rusting. Every 2 to 3 years you're supposed to do it, and we are in our 3rd year now, so we're going to book that in.
We're going to do it soon. We wanted to do it because, being purists, we sort of have done everything else on the boat, but we've rang around a couple, and a lot of them don't let you do DIY blacking, which I can't say I'm too sad about, to be honest. So I think we're going to pay someone to do it, and maybe go on holiday for a week. Who knows? We did, I think we'll do it 1 year, won't we? We're not too fussed, to be honest. But what were the pricings for that?
So the further towards the Midlands you get, the less London tax there is. Anywhere from 600 quid up to over £1,000 for basic blacking, and then there's 2-pack, which is meant to last a lot longer, can be like double or triple that. So I think where we're going for is about 750 all in, plus anodes, which are about 100 quid each, and they are sacrificial bits of zinc.
I still can't quite comprehend.
That basically rust away before your hull does. They're like sacrificial. They're just melting away.
I can still see them in the water, whereas Ben and Ree, our friends, theirs wasn't even on there, so I don't feel too bad that our boat's still in the water. Yeah,
we've still got a bit of zinc left there. So that's something to consider, because that is something you have to do every 3 years. So divide that back.
If you didn't, then it would cost more in the long run, wouldn't it?
Oh, God,
there'd be more
eventually,
things that, there'd be more...
welding and stuff. Eventually, it will start to rust your hull. So I've divided that back into like a monthly cost based on that.
And also, just things go wrong, don't they? I know you don't necessarily think of the cost of that when you live in a house, but things go wrong. I guess you need a boiler tested and different things in a house, don't you? So it's similar to us having maintenance.
Yeah, true. And then there's boat safety certificate, which lasts 4 years, and that's just 180 quid normally. So it's cost us per month £90 for the licence, £50 for gas, £20 for insurance, £80 for heating, £60 for diesel, £20 for petrol, and then the maintenance divides back to roughly another £30. So £350 per month is our general outgoings just for maintaining and living on the boat.
And that's obviously over winter, so we wouldn't use as much gas probably in the summer, or I know we won't use as much gas in the summer. And also, being in London itself, we didn't have the car, which was a blessing and a curse. It was great not having the car, not having to worry about moving it every time we moved the boat, but equally then we paid a lot for the underground or the public transport every day that we wanted to do something, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that's something to bear in mind if you're going to be in London as well. So when our batteries were dying, we obviously couldn't use the washing machine. That's a very big power source, which is part of the reason why I love having a generator now that we can use them. As much as I love the culture in laundrette, sorry, like they're just all very different, aren't they? It's a very funny atmosphere to be in there. It adds up. They are very expensive. You kind of want to make it worth its while, so you sort of wait till everything till you haven't got any more clean clothes left. And I would say they vary quite a lot in London. I found we probably went to about 5 different ones. I would say the cheapest was probably about £10, and that's me using the dryer, but I don't want to use it too much because I'm worried that everything's going to shrink. So then we would still have to have the big old thing up here in the living room, and that was at least every 2 weeks, I would say, at least.
And it's not only paying for it, you've got to take your big bags of clothes all the way along the towpath. Sometimes it's raining, but you need clean pants, so you're gonna have to go.
That was the cheapest as well. Some of them are over like £20. Like some people get it, I think, what's it called, like a service where you take
wash,
it to them, but no, we never done that. But that's definitely something to bear in mind. We've got a washing machine, which I'm very grateful for. It's only 3.5 kilos, but it's just nice to keep on top of it. So
that is quite a luxury on a boat. Most people do have to rely on laundrettes. So for us,
and it's time as well. Like, time is money, isn't it? And that takes a good 2 hours out of your day, I would say. So if you're working full-time, you know, in an office job or something, you've got to move the boat if you haven't got a mooring, then you've got to do, you know, your washing, like all of these day-to-day tasks that in a house you probably don't think of because you press one button and you don't have to worry about the power. They just fill your day, doesn't it?
And water, because it uses quite a lot of water, and then you've got to move the boat to fill up with water. So, yeah. There's definitely lots of things to consider if you are thinking about moving onto a boat. I know lots of you message us saying that we've really inspired you to go and get a boat and stuff. Let us know how you're getting on if you're watching. Love to hear. Honestly, love to hear some of your stories. It's funny, isn't it? Even your friends and stuff have literally upped their lives. And then moved onto a boat because they've seen that we sort of moved on to one. So
it's nice, and to be honest, like, these are all costs, and obviously you've got to weigh up if you've got the time to do all of these things, because in regards to moorings in London, they are few and far between, and they are so expensive. Like, some of them are over £1,000 a month, and that isn't including all the rest of these bills that we have. So you'd still have that on top of, you know, having your boat. But it was a beautiful way to see London. If we were to, you know, spend 3 months in London in a flat, there's no way that we would get one for free, £3.50 a month. So yeah, I'm so grateful we got to live in London for a short amount of time, see loads of different boroughs, explore. It's such a beautiful city. We really enjoyed it, didn't we?
Yeah, I must say, I was dreading it a little bit because so many stories of break-ins and stuff, and you are very vulnerable on the canal. But touch wood, we had 0 incidents in 3 months, which I think was good.
Apart from maybe the duck that went missing, but Joe tells me that it fell in the water.
Someone spotted that we didn't have it the other day.
I think someone
someone stole a little wooden duck off our roof.
But that's okay. That's okay. I can deal with that. But no, it was such a great way, and maybe we'll go back to London in the future. It was it was nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it in the summer. I'm sure it's even busier.
Yeah.
It's a very busy place, and mooring is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I think once you adjust to it and you know that you're going to be moored alongside someone.
And you just got to walk on people's boats.
Yeah. You just get real cosy with your neighbours quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that, we had a great time.
There isn't many marinas, in London itself as well. So if you were thinking of moving onto a boat and you've got a job in London, I would sort of look into, you know, because some of the boats that you buy with a mooring, you are paying basically for the mooring. It's not because the boat has got all this fancy equipment in necessarily. You are just paying for
buying your way into it.
Yeah, basically. Our camera battery is about to die, but I think we've covered everything. Let us know if there's anything you think we've missed off. Obviously, we've still got just day-to-day things that everyone has, like our food, our phone bills, and we're moving quite a bit.
We're moving a bit.
Just things like that everyone has, but we didn't include them. But
I forgot Wi-Fi, but I guess a house has that.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. Do we pay more for Wi-Fi?
Not really. No, so ignore that.
No, we would like Starlink. So Elon, if you're watching this, let us have a box or whatever it is. I don't even know what it looks like.
It's like a satellite.
Let's have a satellite. But yeah, $3.50 a month. Let us know if that's what you thought it would be. We're obviously not glamorising this lifestyle. There's lots of things that are hard and...
Just watch some of our videos when our batteries died and stuff. It's not for everyone.
No, it's definitely not. And there's just mud in here constantly all the time. The towpath is not okay right now.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you to our patrons. And we'll see you next week. Maybe we've moved another foot. Who knows?
No, Jen, I think we can actually move a good 2 miles this time. I just want to get on the move.
We just want to go to Birmingham now, and then we'll probably moan about the city there and how busy it is.
Bye.
Bye.